So now that you know which model you want to go with, how do you go about choosing the right outsourcing vendor? So the first thing to appreciate is that there are a lot of rogue outsourcing companies, and that is because companies can hide behind a website. The chances of you actually visiting the company and seeing what their capabilities are pretty slim. Most clients, probably 2 to 3%, actually go and visit their vendors. The vast majority will do it purely online. So when you're doing that, it's very easy to miss out if this vendor is actually capable or not, because all you're looking at, all you're judging this company on is their website. And the other thing rogue entities do is they will offer very, very low prices, so it becomes very tempting to go and work with them. And then once you get enticed by that low cost, you're no longer doing your due diligence. You're no longer assessing them credibly, and that's how a lot of companies end up partnering with these rogue entities because they're not really evaluating their capabilities. So here's a few red flags you can look out for. These are like kind of your telltale signs of a rogue outsourcing company. And again, it's common sense, but again, you'd be surprised at how many clients I've seen make this mistake. So when you're looking at a website, just five very, very quick things you can look out for. One is fake testimonials. Two is a lack of senior management transparency. So with any company you're thinking of offshoring to, go out and look who is the CEO of the company, who's the VP, and if you can't find that information, don't partner with the company. And when you find that information, go and check it out on LinkedIn. Get a bit of background. Who are the owners of the company? Who are the investors? Who are the directors? So there should be that transparency behind the firm. And if there's not, it's probably because they're trying to hide something. And then company transparency as well. Just little things, telltale signs, like do they have pictures on their website? Do they have an address? You'd be amazed at how many outsourcing companies do not put an address on their website. And that is because they're trying to hide something. So just these very, very small, basic common sense things are so important and crucial. Then overall, the overall look and feel of a website. I mean, an outsourcing company, if it only has 10 pages, if the design's poor, if it doesn't have any videos, no certifications or associations, again, what is that telling you about the company? It's probably not a reputable firm. So look out for just these small little telltale signs that they themselves might not have a very strong software development team. So most outsourcing companies work in the software development industry. So if they themselves cannot build a good website, what type of capability are they going to have for your company? And then English proficiency. Again, I've seen a lot of clients come to us and say, well, there's a rival company and they're £300 cheaper. And I'll go look at their website and the spelling and grammar and punctuation is terrible. I think to myself, well, it looks like a 10-year-old kid's written this. So little things like that will definitely indicate to you whether it's a reputed or rogue entity. So now that you've filtered out all of the rogue entities, now you have just the reputed firms. How do you choose between, let's say, 3 or 4 very capable vendors? How do you decide which one to actually go and partner with? The first thing is assess the technical capability of the company. That's quite easy to do, but again, how many clients will just rush into the process and not do these 3, 4 things? This is probably the most important thing when you're choosing a vendor, is to test the technical capability of the firm. And again, yeah, I've seen so many clients not do this diligently. So I cannot stress this enough, but look at previous samples of work, look at their work portfolios, interview the staff, assign technical tests. And if you can do this, this is ideal. Ask for a trial. Ask for a 1 week, 2 week, 3 week, 1 month trial. You have very little to lose, but you have a lot to gain. Even if you end up losing a couple of £100, but you get a feel for the company, that's worth so much. So this will start to give you an idea of which vendor is technically the most capable, and this is probably the most important factor, is technical capability. Thereafter, there are other factors you want to take into consideration, like assess the infrastructure and hardware of the vendor. What is their bandwidth, internet bandwidth, and reliability of the internet connection? Just little small things like that. What systems are they using? Do they have servers? Just very small little things like that, which you should test because you're going to be working with these guys now remotely. Another very important thing to keep in mind is data security and IP protection. Ask to see a copy of the vendor's IP and data security protocols, and ensure that their measures are stringent and effective. You don't want your work getting stolen or not being safeguarded by the vendor. So that's another very good litmus test you can apply to see how credible the vendor is. And then assess professionalism. Again, small little things. What are their response times? How long does it take for them to respond back to your email? Is it 1 hour, or is it 1 day, or is it 6 hours? Just little things like that will start to tell you about the mindset, about the culture of the company. Is their sales department open 24 hours a day? Any credible outsourcing company should really have a sales department that's open 24 hours because their market is 24 hours. So if they're not doing that, that's telling you a lot about the vendor. It's probably telling you that they have very limited capability and capacity. So yeah, just keep an eye out for these small things. How do you find communicating with their sales team? And that kind of brings me back to my earlier point as to why it's so illogical not to pick up the phone and call these vendors, because a lot of the times when you do that, straight away you start to get a feel for whether you can work with this company or not. When you call the vendor up and you find that I cannot even communicate with their sales team, do you really think that they are going to be able to do your work credibly? No. So again, these very small things go a long way when it comes to outsourcing. And then finally, assess the relationship and rapport. So whenever you're outsourcing, generally speaking, unless you have a very small project, you will have several interactions with the vendor. And with each interaction, you will start to get a feel for what the relationship and rapport might be like. And that's very important. If you have a vendor which is on a similar wavelength to you, you find it easy to communicate with them, you find it easy to explain what your needs and requirements are, that in the long run is going to go a massive way. So again, appreciate just how invaluable having a good relationship with a vendor is, because in the long run, 6 months down the line, if there's a hiccup down the road, you need to have that relationship and rapport to ensure that you can overcome those obstacles and hurdles which you might encounter.